Greetings, everyone. I'm Tawnya Love. Welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. And I'm glad that if any of you are remembering to tune in, you remembered we're changing it to Sunday, so good for you. Um, I think Amnon's going to keep airing them on Monday as well at 4 for this month, just so in case we're missing any
That's
people.
right. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll be showing it on Monday, but if you want to tune in live, start tuning in with us on Sunday at 5 p.m. my time and 8 p.m. your time, right, Amnon?
Yep.
On
That's
East
right.
Coast? Okay. Okay. Today, I'm going to give you the phone number. So if you all have a pen and paper and you want to write down the phone number, it is 919-518-9773. And if you want to call in and ask any questions or share comments, I encourage you to. Um, Basically, I feel led to speak on. I've had all kinds of people coming to me this week that have been summoned in regarding seeing spirits or feeling their presence. And the common theme, I just wrote a blog about it that says, hey, you're not crazy, because the common theme seems to be a lot of people that are having these experiences or have had them have often questioned their own sanity and just felt kind of, freaked out and concerned. And it can be really overwhelming at times when a soul just begins to connect to the spiritual realms and maybe you weren't before and suddenly it's happening. And I shared in my blog how for myself in 2001 I've always had a gift where I could tune in, but I didn't let it open fully after childhood years because I think it was mostly because I was told that it wasn't real, and so I kind of just started shutting it down. But even though I did that, I wasn't seeing things. I was very sensitive and could feel and sense spirits and energy all the time. And in 2001, my dad had committed suicide, and it was a really rough time for me. And I was really angry. I was really confused. I felt very lost as far as like the humans around me. I felt like they didn't understand the truth and they were just feeding me a bunch of crap. And I had been raised in church, in a Baptist church, and I'm not ragging on religion, but I was raised around church people that really couldn't answer my questions and often said things that just didn't feel right to me. And so when my dad died, I just remember going to my last church meeting and I was at like a Bible study or something. And I just asked them, hey, I have a question. Can you tell me what happens after you die? And they all just got quiet. And I was just waiting for them to answer me, and none of them could. And they were just like, Tanya, you just need to read your Bible. You need to trust. And, when you die, if you're good and you have Jesus in your heart, you go to heaven. And if you don't, then you're going to go to hell. And so just make sure you're good with Jesus. And it just pissed me off, actually. And I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was just like, I was feeling my dad's spirit come to me, and I just wanted to know if anyone understood how to explain it because it was freaking me out. And at the same time, I had been taught to think things like that were bad, but it was happening and it was from my dad. And so it was this amazing time in my life of really cracking me open, I call it. It's like I was being reawakened and I was kind of cracking myself right. When people refer to the onion and all the layers of the onion, and then your essence is in the center, the core self, that's what was happening. It was like someone just cracked my onion and I had to start peeling the layers away. And so at that time, it was really overwhelming for myself, and I didn't have anyone bringing me any answers. I started reading books like Talking to Heaven by James Van Praagh, and he has several books actually. And I was reading those, and I was just meditating, and I was talking to my angels and asking them to bring me signs to let me know if am I crazy or is this real? And basically, my dad was coming to me in meditations. And when he first came to me, he came to me when I was meditating, and I felt the back of my head just disappear as if it wasn't there. And it was a very sensational kind of experience where I just sensed there was no back to my head. And he had shot himself in the mouth. And so it scared me. And I remember just saying, Dad, stop. It's scaring me. And as soon as I said that, it stopped. And I feel like now that I understand more, I don't feel my dad wanted to scare me. When he came in and made himself seen to my daughter, she saw him and saw also the wound to his head. It scared her. And I don't feel he was trying to scare us. But I feel like what they're doing is when a soul, especially with like a suicide or something like that, my inner knowing is that they're a little lost themselves and that they're trying to figure out what's going on in their world also. And they're a little freaked out because they think if they do this act, they'll be gone. And then suddenly realize I'm not really gone. No one can hear or see me now. So it's not really helping anything. But it's quite a journey for a soul to go through. And for me, I feel like it helped me to awaken my spiritual gifts. And so the reason I say that is some of you might be going through things that are really hard or where you've had great loss or, something just major is shifting and changing in your world and it's rocking your boat and it's cracking you open. Be patient and gentle with yourself during that process because now looking back at that time in my life, I have such honor and reverence for it because I see how much my dad was coming to help me and to liberate me and to assist me in understanding the truth of what happens, life after death. And at the time, though, it was very overwhelming. And I was, like I said, I didn't feel connected to a lot of the living, but I felt more like the unseen world was more real to me at that time. And I had to really learn to balance. I had to learn a lot about boundary setting. And the reason I'm discussing this on the show is that it happens to so many of us. And I feel that when people die and their spirits keep going and their bodies, we see them in a casket and we say goodbye, but we feel their presence at times. And if you talk to anybody on the street, you'll be amazed how many people have a story to share about a sense that grandma was there or that mother was there or that dad was there or their child came. And so I feel like it's not that scary or that weird or unusual. It's actually very normal and very natural. But I feel in our society, we need to just start talking about this stuff. We need to start having these conversations with each other and not feel like there's something wrong with us and not feel like we're crazy because all that does is adds another layer of suffering on top of your grieving. So if you're grieving from something and then you add that layer of inner ego chatter thinking, oh my God, I'm nuts, it can really be traumatic for a soul. And I just say that because I don't think it's necessary unless you really need to learn that way. And in my case, I did. And I didn't really have a teacher to guide me or anything except for my dad in spirit. So I just encourage you to be gentle with yourselves during these transitions and to speak your truth more because as I've been talking to people more, like last week in meditation, I had a couple women that were summoned in to meet me, and it was very magical. One of the women, I was tuning in to her on the phone, and I just could sense so much loss in her life, and her angels were telling me that this was a pattern, like almost like a karmic pattern in her life. And when I talked to her, I said, they're saying that there's this pattern of great loss in your life and that it's almost like you feel like your family's cursed. And she started laughing like, yeah, I really do feel like my family's cursed. And so I was telling her the messages from her angels were like, you're not cursed, but you have this energetic pattern that needs to be cleared of abandonment and loss. And so until she could clear that, she in her movie keeps manifesting loss, loss, loss. And so what was interesting is while I was on the phone with her, she was talking about her grandson because I sensed deep grief in her before she said anything. I was just like, you're grieving something. Who is it? Someone close to you just passed. And she was like, oh, my grandson, he passed away in February. And so she was telling me the details of it. And I got a vision in my third eye of just fingers with a cigarette. And I was just like, and I'm still learning to trust. And the reason I want to share this is that as intuitive as we are, I'm a healer. I help clients all the time. But every day, my gifts are strengthening. Every day, new things come in that are different and magical. This is why the work I do is never boring. It's amazing. But it also is constantly opening us up to greater expansion. And we're being taught every day to trust and to tune in intuitively. And so as I saw that vision, I was kind of like in my mind thinking, what was that? I saw it, but let her keep talking. And so she keeps talking about how her grandson had passed away in a fire. And I saw the vision again. And then she was saying that, there was this investigation. They weren't sure if it was an accident or if it was a fire was intentionally started. And she said that she just had a deep intuition that he fell asleep while smoking. And right when she said that, I was just like, yes, that's it. Like, that is what I'm getting, is that he fell asleep and he was holding a cigarette in his fingers. And and then all of a sudden, I felt consciousness coming in, and I want to describe it to those who are maybe new to trusting, because it's not like, for me, it's not that I hear voices, like I'm hearing, hey, Tanya. It's not like that. But I will be talking to someone and tuning into their energy, and consciousness will start streaming in, and I know it's not mine. So, like visions of the cigarette, or I'll suddenly have consciousness coming in saying, tell her this was my journey, tell her this was my lesson. And so I'm just like, okay. So I start telling the client that. And a lot of us have this, I feel we truly all have the ability. I've kind of made the reference before that, those who are strong and buff and they've got nice guns, they work out with weights, and the more they work out, the stronger their body becomes. Anyone can do this. If you can grab a weight and lift it, you could start cultivating strength, or even without a weight, you could use your body in some way to cultivate strength. So the same thing applies to our psychic gifts. If we tune in and we're using them, they strengthen. Since I am assisting clients almost every day now in some form, my gifts are strengthening and my psychic gifts are opening more and more every day. So for those of you that are wanting to strengthen your gifts, don't wait until you think you're the master, or wait until you think you need to have some kind of Reiki master degree or whatever it is, because I haven't done it that way. I want to encourage you to start using your gifts today. Start listening and tuning in to your intuition, and just kind of start playing with someone that you trust and see if what you're picking up on is true. And in some of my workshops, we do these things. So if any of you are local and you want to come and play, contact me and come and connect with us in our Empowering the Empath workshops or our Soul Sister Circle, because we will do these interactive exercises that will help strengthen this. The reason I say that is because I feel so many, they doubt their own gifts and they think they have to wait until something magical enough happens to where then they're ready. And for me, I just felt like I've always had this. But as I trusted my angels and them guiding me to do this as a healer, and they told me, you're here to teach many. You're here to teach this because there's so many that are lost and confused. And there's so many out there that have gone to be teachers that have a lot of ego, that kind of try to make it their way and try to make the bigness smaller and compartmentalize it. And I feel personally that we're not serving ourselves in doing that. So if we can keep it open and expanded, and just practice tuning in and letting it flow in, you will be amazed with the experiences that you'll have. So back to the story with the woman, that's what was happening. I was feeling consciousness coming in, it was streaming in, and I was just telling her, I have messages from your grandson. And so I started telling her what they were, and she was just emotional about, like, oh my God, like that makes so much sense to me. And that's even what his mom has said, that she feels that sense about, that he had these lessons. And what I got from this spirit was that he wasn't sad about passing. The only thing that made them sad, whenever I've communicated with someone who, I see the dead people, whenever I'm tuning into them, the only thing sad I ever have sensed is their sadness for how the ones who have been left behind are grieving for them. They usually will come to me in some way, just like, tell her to be happy. I just want her to be happy and move on with her life. Tell her what an angel she was to me. One time I was getting a massage, randomly just going to relax, and I start picking up on a spirit in the room. And the woman, she's chatting with me, and I just start saying, I think I have some messages for you. And it will happen like that. And she's just like, okay. So I start telling her these messages that are coming in. And I said, did you just recently lose a brother? And she starts crying. And so she's telling me, yes, I did. And I started telling her the messages from her brother. And he was telling her, you're like an angel to me. You were there for me while I was sick, and you were helping me all the time. And I just want you to not feel guilt now. And when I said that, she started crying and said, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm feeling, is I feel guilt, because she felt relieved that he had passed. And she felt guilt about that. And in the spiritual realm, once they pass over, they're happy and they're good. Unless, I won't say always, because like in a case of suicide, they can be a little lost sometimes, because that was the experience I had. But in the big picture, they will find their path. They'll figure it out. And ultimately, they want the living that they've left behind to be happy. And they want us to know that they love us and that they, learn their lessons. when we die, what I've
Hello?
seen is we have this big vision
Wait,
of our life story, and we're shown kind of like the big review of our life. We'll get shown what's gone on and what our choices created, how they cause suffering for others or ourselves. And then we have that kind of karmic energy. And sometimes souls will want to bring messages to their loved ones to let them know, hey, I just want to tell you I'm sorry. I just want to tell you that this was my time. And that's, usually the reason they will stick around is to just make sure that the ones they loved are okay. And souls like myself, like other, mediums or clairvoyants, whatever you want to call them. I don't really like putting labels to me because I feel like it, again, makes small of the vastness. But souls that are sensitive, meaning they're tuning in, they're very sensitive, they can feel, they sense, they hear, see everything. They can be very helpful for humans that need that confirmation and need to understand what's going on so that they can heal and they can move forward.
and
So
we
if
have a caller.
do you have a question? Did you have a question, Amnon?
Yeah, no, there's a caller.
Oh, okay. So I will pause.
Hello.
So who's here?
Hello? Hi.
Hi.
This is
What's your name?
Kathy. Kathy.
Kathy.
Oh,
Hi, Kathy.
Hello.
So, so do you have a
I,
question?
well, I just wanted to share an experience that I had after my mother's death. Um,
Okay.
I was in a, it was at her funeral as we were walking into the chapel. I just felt so, like kind of like a little breeze or something, like somebody was gently touching my shoulder, and it was very comforting, and I felt very peaceful. But I didn't talk about it for a while to any of my family because I felt guilty that I was feeling so peaceful, and my mother just died.
Uh-huh.
But and I was already feeling some guilt anyway, that maybe I could have done enough, I should have done it this way instead of that way. And I think that was her way of letting me know that it was okay. And
Exactly.
and I kept feeling that feeling off and on for a week or two afterwards. And then it just went away. And it was a very comforting way to deal with my mother's death, and I'm sure that's why she came to visit me in that way.
Absolutely. She wanted you to be okay. They come in, they're like, hey, I'm still with you. It's going to be all right. And that's so great of you to tune in to know that and to tune into what she's trying to tell you. And this could be like where maybe she didn't say anything to you with words, but it was like more of a sensory feeling, like a feeling of comfort and peace. Is that how you
Right,
experienced it?
exactly.
Hmm. That's awesome.
So
Yeah,
that
and I
was,
feel, do you feel like when you sensed it not coming again, did you feel like her spirit moved on?
yes, I was kind of disappointed too. That, like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
not feeling it anymore.
Yeah.
But, you know, that happens. You got to learn to deal with losses because there's going to be a lot of them in life.
Yes. That's the one thing we can count on is that things will constantly change, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yes. Well, that's
So,
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I feel that, some humans when they pass on, they do just come and bring us a message and let us know, that they want us to know that they're okay and they comfort us and then they move on. And they really, like in Avatar, when it says all energies borrowed, it must be returned. And then it goes back to Awa. That's kind of the way I feel about it when I say source, is that souls, we borrow this energy and we come into a human form or whatever form, animal form, tree form, we can choose whatever form. And when we're done with that form, we will go back to source. And so some souls will just go right back. They let the loved ones know they're okay and they go right back. Whereas other souls will choose to stay and be more like an earthbound spirit, either from attachment. So these are the ones that we would refer to as ghosts that kind of haunt spaces and they're attached. They are often earthbound souls that have not moved on. They haven't let go. they haven't found closure. They're kind of still repeating their movie until they figure it out, they stay stuck. And then there's souls that choose to stay, like my dad's spirit. He's come to me many times and said that he's not leaving us, that part of, I feel like it was part of his karmic, um, not like a punishment, but like his karmic agreement or soul contract, that when he left, because of the way he didn't make that initiation and he took his life, even though it really brought us a lot of help, part of his agreement was to stay with my siblings, my family, and to be a spirit guide for us and to be in our life, but in the light, like just to the side where maybe not everyone sees them, but they're still there vibrationally assisting, where some souls will go right back to source. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Well, thanks for listening, and I
Yeah.
will be continuing listening to hear maybe some other stories. Thank you
Yes.
for your
Thank you.
time.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Kathy.
All right.
So,
Bye-bye. Oh,
thank you.
okay. Bye.
um, Bye. So, if anybody else would like to share a story or a situation, or maybe you've got a question about something, feel free to call in. Amnon will take your calls, and we'd love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have one?
No,
Okay. Is there any questions coming in the feed?
nope, but
Oh,
people are beginning to come in.
okay. So feel free to share if you guys want to ask questions. And then if Kathy, actually, I didn't even ask Kathy if she wanted an angel reading, but if someone calls in next and you want me to do a quick angel reading today, I will offer one for the next caller. So if you want to get an angel reading, feel free to call in. One of the cards I drew actually for today that is just like a card about empowerment. And I feel like part of vibrational alignment is all about empowerment. And when we're really in our alignment and we're one with Source, we feel empowerment. We are empowered. When we're slightly out of alignment with our source energy, we question, we feel fearful, we feel afraid and scared and nervous and confused. And all it takes is our intention to step back into alignment. I feel the reason I'm so passionate about teaching meditation, and I teach yoga and meditation teacher trainings, and I offer weekly meditation classes in my home, is because really the portal and the doorway for all of this magic is in the stillness. And so the outside world being so busy and so, chaotic is not really where we're going to find these deeper answers. And that's what I learned, like when I was at the church saying, give me the answers. And there was no answers there. It was all external. It was like, just go memorize some more Bible verses, Tanya. And it wasn't working for me anymore. And when I got quiet, I started to meditate. And in the beginning, it was maybe like 10, 15 minutes. It wasn't a long time. It was just actually really challenging in the beginning. And I have compassion for all the students that come to me and are like, oh, it's hard to get my brain to quiet down. And then when they come and they work with me in a class setting, they're like, how come my mind just quiets down? Or if they come for a healing, the mind chatter stops. And part of it, because I was asking my angels, what is that? And part of it is when they come into the vibration with us, and people can feel when they walk in my home, they're like, there is an energy here. I was just, we're renting a room, and this guy came to check it out the other day, and he was like walking around really quiet, and he's like, there is a lot of divine feminine energy here. And I just started laughing, like, oh yeah. And he could feel it. And so when students come and they work with me in the weekly classes, the angels and I are both assisting in raising their vibration to help them tune in and to help them quiet all that chatter, because the busy ego chatter is the distraction. And if we can clear that, we can come deeper inside. And this is where the intuitive voice is. And that intuitive voice, I've talked about this before, it's very soft and subtle. And it's pretty easy to just kind of stomp it and ignore it. And it's really the most powerful voice to listen to. Um, this isn't a huge example, but today my son was looking for his paperwork because he's doing community service and he has a paper that they have to sign off on. And I was like, I put it right here on the counter. And it was just baffling me. Like, where did this paper go? Because I know I just put it here last night and now it's gone. So I was in the car. I was kind of in my human, trying to figure it out for a minute. And then I just calmed down and we're driving. And I was like, angels, You know we need this paper. Please show me where it's at. And so when I got home, I walked in the house, I walked right to the refrigerator and I looked at the refrigerator and I'm just like, yeah, it's not here. This is where I used to hang it because I would stick it on the refrigerator. So I'm just looking at the refrigerator and then it's like they guided my eyes to look up. And as I looked up, I see the piece of paper kind of poking up over the refrigerator, which I would never put anything up there because it's above my view. I reach up, sure enough, it's the paperwork I'm looking for. And the reason I share that story is it's something simple, but how many times a day do we need these simple little solutions and we need the help? And you're going to find it quicker and more efficiently by getting quiet and asking Spirit to bring you the solution than you ever will in trying to get into your intellect and figure it out. You could be looking for hours in here and frustrated, or you could just calm down, go inside, thank you, angels, guide me, and you kind of trust your instinct, your inner knowing guides you right to it. So I just want to share that as like a simple thing, but the simple things matter, right? So our card that I drew is empowerment, and it looks like that. And it is from the Divine Guidance deck of Oracle cards by, what are the women's names? Cheryl Lee Harnish. The empowerment card says, this card shows a gentle yet powerful opening and energy flow of the third chakra. This is your power center, the solar plexus. Through your own willingness to stand tall and be all of who and what you are meant to be, you naturally vibrate a dynamic energy that has a positive and empowering effect on others. Through your own acts of self-kindness and self-love, you have given yourself permission to shine a gentle and loving strength. This is exactly what the world needs right now. You are giving the gift of self-empowerment to everyone you meet. And when I read that earlier, I started to cry, and it just even made me feel emotional right now. And I feel Spirit kind of just brings us this confirmation of you are really assisting and affecting lives, and don't doubt yourself. Don't hold yourself back. Even if others don't get you, sometimes when I notice in humanity, a lot of times when a soul starts to ascend and they start really expanding and opportunities are coming, a lot of the ones close can get kind of threatened or jealous or just even straight up controlling and hateful. And you need to go anyways. You need to keep expanding and keep coming into your power, because that is actually what the world needs. And sometimes if you're waiting for that approval from the people around you, you're going to wait for a while. So I encourage you not to do that. Today, I also drew an angel card, and it's by Archangel Haniel is the card that I drew, which makes perfect sense because I felt Haniel was the one that I was tuning into, and then this was confirmation. And Haniel is a feminine energy that she comes in and assists me when I'm doing healings or readings, and she is like the one bringing me the messages, and she helps us to open our psychic gifts and our power and to really trust our inner knowing. So if you're not familiar with her, you don't need to really know a lot about her. You could go Google it, but I encourage you, the best way to get to know an angel is to tune in meditation and thank them for coming to you and for invoking their energy, their essence, and for them to teach you and to open your third eye, to clear the fear. One of the main things I help clients with in an auric clearing is clearing the energetic patterns that are blocking their flow and that are blocking their openness and their ability to connect. And so some of you, if you're feeling an intuition that you need to clear some stuff and you're not sure how, contact me. That is my magical gift. If you know how to do it on your own, do it. Talk to your angels, clear that stuff. But as you clear the fears of seeing, you will see again. Most of us that, maybe when we were younger, we saw spirits or we had experiences, and now we don't. It's because we got afraid or because we felt we wouldn't be loved or we'd be judged about having these gifts, so we kind of shut them down, and you can open them up. So I'm going to show you that card. It's Archangel Haniel, and these are from the Archangel Power Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue. And this card is the Moon, and it says it's time to review your plans. Something just isn't quite right, and your angels and guides are lovingly bringing this to your attention. The great news is that your psychic and intuitive abilities are heightened right now. Listen to your intuition and your sleeping dreams for guidance as to how to make revisions. Archangel Haniel can help you to develop your psychic gifts and show you what aspects of the situation you're missing. So she kind of helps you with the big picture, brings in the little puzzle pieces to help you see the bigger picture. It's human to have moments when you feel worried or uncertain. This card is meant to reassure you that by facing your fears, you can overcome them and evolve to a higher level. Ask Archangel Haniel to shed light on all facets of your life. I encourage you all that are listening today to call your angels in to shine the light. Some of us, when we're used to being in the shadow, we're used to being in fear. We get threatened when someone brings in light, and we don't like it because what it does is it's challenging us to grow and to evolve and to work and do our work. And the light workers on this planet, I encourage you not to take it personally when they get like this, because humans, when they're in shadow, they can be really nasty and really vengeful, malicious, manipulative. And it's because they're in fear. They're operating completely from fear. So one thing I would encourage is if you're surrounding yourself with people like that and you're a light healer and you're a sensitive being, you need to get yourself out of those situations. Just simple as that. Your little flower needs to be put in fertile ground. So value your flower and don't leave it in toxic soil. But for those of you that, you're not necessarily around negativity, but every now and then somebody seems to be afraid of you because you have these gifts, I encourage you not to take it personally. Because I have had people straight up think I'm from the devil. I have had people, run by me saying Jesus is the only one for me. I've had people that just cry and just are so grateful for the gifts that I have, and they say, you're an angel, and they just give me a hug and they see me. But I don't take any of it personal. We got to learn to just be the messenger and not take it too personal and just keep doing the work instead of worrying about if people are going to approve of your work. That's really important. One of the messages of this card is also messages from deceased loved ones, which is fitting for today's topic. Hidden information or motives and facing your fears. Archangel Haniel is a wonderful angel to call upon when you have questions about subconscious or your sleeping dreams. She is associated with the moon and the development of people's intuition and psychic abilities. Call upon Haniel for help in understanding situations that seem mysterious or difficult to understand. So, is there any other questions coming in, Amnon?
I think Kathy is calling again.
Okay.
Hi, this is
Hey.
Kathy again.
Hi, Kathy.
I'm calling. I heard you say you forgot to offer me an angel reading, so I'm calling back to get one.
Awesome. So, what deck would you like me to draw a card from? I can do these Archangel Power, the Archangel Power Tarot cards, or the Angel deck.
The angel deck.
The blue one? Okay. So do you have like a question, or do you just want to see what they have for you today? Like what the highest priority message is?
Just with the highest priority message.
You're so smart. That's the way I like to do it, is just let them kind of guide me and show me what I need to see. Okay. So let me tune in here for a sec.
Hello?
Yep, I'm just shuffling the cards.
Oh, okay. I thought
You thought we dropped the call?
Uh-huh. Because I couldn't hear anything.
I didn't get my reading, man. Okay, so I got two cards that I'm feeling led to give you. One is called the Awakening card, and it's Archangel Gabriel. And it says, look at things from a different perspective. It represents a temporary standstill, and that it's important to be yourself. And this card says, it's time for you to review your plans according to this card and look at things from a new perspective. Ask yourself, is it possible that a different approach would work better? Although it may feel like events have come to a standstill, this is temporary. So make use of the extra time you've been given to rethink your strategies. You may need to step outside of the norm and mainstream right now and embrace your unique and eclectic gifts, beliefs, or attitudes. It's also a good moment to be generous with your time, attention, and your gifts. This tithing is returned by the universe manyfold to you. So that to me kind of represents sometimes we'll get opportunities to help others and they may not be able to pay us or help us. And this happens in my world a lot, but help them anyway. Because when you're putting out, if it feels heartfelt and you feel you're meant to help, do it and know that the universe will bless you tenfold. just let that blessing come back. And those are things that are so amazing to the heart when we really listen to our heart and we honor from that place, you'll always win. Additional meanings are epiphanies, selflessness, unexpected life changes, the need for patience, the power that lies in being oneself, and unusual solutions. Archangel Gabriel is the angel who helps people become divine messengers of love. So, kind of like our topic today, you can tune in and allow spirit to come through you and to speak through you. And then you open yourself to be a portal for those messages to flow in. And then you can choose to be a messenger. And it's an amazing gift, but it takes openness. We have to clear ego. We have to clear fear. We have to clear the judgment, because you may be amazed what will flow through as a message to be delivered to someone. And it's interesting because I've had so many messages come through me from souls that wanted me to give messages to their family. And sometimes it's people I don't know. Like, I remember one time I was meditating and this old man's spirit came to me, and I knew he had just passed over. And he was telling me that he wanted me to give his wife a message for him and to tell her that it was okay to live on her own. And I was like, okay, like, who are you? And then he was gone. So I was like, what is that? And so this is when I'm saying this, because it's not always super clear, but they'll bring you a little message. And I would just write it in my little journal, like, okay, I was meditating on this day. This is the message that came in. Well, a few days later, I go to this neighborhood that we were considering buying a house there. And I walked over to the park and I was sitting on a bench just kind of looking at the park. Like, can I picture my kids playing here? Does it feel like a good energy? And this little old woman came and sat next to me. And when she sat down, I just got like the goosebumps, like, and I just knew it's like spirit touched me, like this is her. And it was just an inner knowing. My strongest gift is my claircognizance. It's just like I just know stuff. And so I turned to her, and I was like, I feel like I have a message for you. And she was like, okay, honey, what is it? And so I told her, I said, I don't know if this will make sense, but I feel like a man came to me when I was meditating, and he said that it was okay for you to live on your own. And she started crying and just hugged me. And she was one of the good, like, nice ones that was like, you're an angel. And she hugged me, and she said, I was just on my porch crying to my dead husband and asking him to bring me a sign because her children wanted her to live with them, and she really wanted to live on her own. And so things like this can happen when you let yourself be a messenger for spirit, and your love is what guides you. You'll be amazed of how magical your life can be. But like this card's saying, you may have to embrace these eclectic ways and kind of get out of the norm and not worry about what you look like or if you're weird. Just start trusting, and you let yourself be a messenger for spirit. What do you think about that one?
That sounds great. I hope that I can be, to move into that realm. That would be great.
Yes, and all it takes is an openness, the openness and desire to connect in that way. I would say the practice of stillness each day, of just being quiet with the intention of just opening to receive, not like trying to make anything happen. This is one reason, like a lot of the psychic shows and things. I remember going to see James Van Praagh in LA, and I was just like kind of wanting to know if he was legit. And I'm just that kind of spirit. I'm like, I need to know proof. I need to know if I can trust this one. So I went to his show, and I was in the audience for a while. And I remember he asked this woman some questions and was tuning into her and said he knew stuff about a loved one that had passed on. And he was like, and we've never met each other, right? And she's like, nope, I've never met you. And they just do the whole TV thing. Well, I remember being in the audience, and I was just like, angels, bring me truth. I want to know if this is real. Like, bring me proof. If there's anything here that's not legit, show me. And so I went to go use the restroom during their break, because they filmed several shows in a row. And I went to go down the hall, and there's this huge line, of course. And the creative soul I am is like, I'm going to go down that hall and see if there's another bathroom. So I went down, and sure enough, I found a restroom. And when I came out, I saw James Van Praagh and this woman, the same woman he was talking to in the audience, having a chat. And I overheard him talking with her, and she was like, how's your family? Like, it's been so long. And I was just like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. And so I walked away feeling a little disheartened about it. But when I was sitting there in the audience, I was tuning into James Van Praagh's energy. And I was just like, this guy, I feel he has a gift, but he is misusing it. He's trying to perform. And one thing that I felt so strong was that him going for that offer to be on the show in that way, where they're kind of like making him a puppet, was so out of alignment for him. And I told my husband at the time, I was like, he's not supposed to be doing it this way. Like he was seduced in because of the money. And I was like, in a couple months, he's not going to be on the show anymore. I can just feel it. And I said that. A couple months later, he was not on the show any longer. And so sometimes we can, have these experiences where we can tune in, but I don't feel it's something we're meant to control. And I say that because I've had clients come to me and they kind of have an expectation of what should happen because another client referred them. And this has only happened, like actually one time. And so I haven't had any dissatisfied customers until this one time. But I had had an experience where a woman came to me and her mother had passed away when she was a little girl, like I think a baby. And I was tuning into her and doing a healing. And it was like a scene from the movie Ghost where Patrick Swayze goes into Whoopi Goldberg's body. This happened to me and it was freaky. And I was standing there and I just suddenly felt like there was another being inside of me and looking out of my eyes. And she was like petting this girl's head and just like comforting her. And I let it happen. I allowed it to happen. But afterwards, I felt so tired and so exhausted. And I was talking to the client about it, and she was like, I swear I felt like my mom was here. And I was like, oh, she was here. And so this for me was even new, and it was pretty amazing. I thought it was awesome, but it was something that didn't happen that often. It just happened. And I didn't try to make that happen. Well, I had a client that knew her that she told the story to, and she really wanted to feel her mother, kind of like you, Kathy, with your mother passing over. But she was like desperate to feel her mother, and she hadn't. And so she wanted this experience. She came to see me, and it didn't happen that way. In fact, what I was told was that her daughter was her mother, like her mother's spirit had reincarnated as her daughter. And so it couldn't happen that way. But after she called me, she was upset at first and was saying she didn't really feel like the experience she was hoping for. And this was such an amazing client for me because the angels, it was like a test for my integrity. I got fearful for a moment when I got the voicemail saying she wasn't happy because I had never had anyone have any unsatisfying experience. And I went and meditated and I was just like, angels, what do I say to her? Like, what do I do? Because I'm just listening to you guys. I'm just trusting. And they were like, and that's all you're meant to do. You need to tell her some messages for us. And so when I called her back, they were bringing messages through saying, I was like, they're saying that this is something that you do, you control things, and it's really sabotaged a lot of relationships in your life, and that you need to release the control, you need to trust more. And the woman ended up crying on the phone and was like, oh my God, you are so shining the light on my shit, And it really helped her to see where she needed to stop controlling, and it helped her to understand the bigger picture. And the reason I say that is because some of us that are guided to do these healing modalities, let it stay authentic and pure. Don't start performing. Don't start thinking, oh gosh, I'm not getting clients. What do I have to do to start manipulating? Or what do I have to tell her because she doesn't seem satisfied? Just say what you're getting. Say what's coming through and be honest about it, because big picture, those clients and those customers, those friends, those family, they're going to really learn to trust and respect you because you're really having integrity. And you're not here, I don't feel we're here to perform and play with people. We're really here to just speak the message in its purity, and that's really it. And you don't need to perform. So I hope I was clear on that, but it just felt like it was important to share that story with you. Okay.
All right,
So the last
and
part.
we have a question
Okay, what is it?
from Lisa. Lisa says, what would you recommend, or what angel would you recommend connecting with to get past fear to see clearly? I have a physical condition that has some strong emotional energy attached to it, but can't get past the strong emotions and fear to see what I need to work on healing.
Well, this is where I would work with Archangel Haniel to help you to see. And a situation like that where you've consciously been trying to do this yourself and it's not happening, this is where I would encourage when I meet clients that they're going through stuff and they come and meet me, I'm like, hey, the angel summoned you in for a reason. if you can do this and you can claim the time, I will tune in with you and we'll heal this together. So you could work with a healer like myself or someone, I don't know if you're in my area or if you're remote, but we can heal it together by tuning in and assisting in what's going on. But if you're not able to do that, because some people get caught up in like a financial thing, which I encourage you to get the book, Getting into the Vortex, so that you can get yourself vibrationally into letting abundance come in for whatever you need. If you're working on this stuff, you can do this. But if you know you've been trying and you're stuck, this is why there's healers like myself here on the planet, and we're here to help you. We're here to tune in and kind of help you clear that stuff so that you can go deeper and understand what the cellular memory is and what those energetic patterns are. And most sessions that I do with a client for the first time are about 2 to 3 hours. So there's a lot of clearing done, but a lot of transformation. But Archangel Haniel, definitely start getting to know this angel to help you to see, to actually help you to understand and see and hear and move through this fear. What was I just going to say? I just lost my train of thought. Archangel Michael is one of the main angels that I work with when we're doing a clearing as well. And so Archangel Michael's a great angel to also call in just to help you to clear fear and to feel in your power. And most likely, if there's an emotional blockage there, you might need some help just to clear that. Because if you get stuck in that space, that's where you need to move beyond it. And it's kind of like, I look at what I'm doing for the soul, kind of like what, I'm also a personal trainer. So when I'm personal training someone in their body, they come to me because if they were able to do it on their own, they would be. And they would be committed and they would be dedicated and they would be tuning into their body. But they're not yet, and so they see the gift of that person that's there going to cheerlead them on and it's going to tune in and give them exercises to do and check in on their progress. So this is really why working with a healer like myself is helpful, because you get that person that's on your team and they're cheering you on and they're checking in on you and they're holding you accountable. They're tuning into your vibration and helping you move beyond your comfort zone. Because a lot of us get to this place that we're like, okay, this is my uncomfortably comfortable, and I am afraid to go over there, so we don't move. And having a life coach or a soul coach or a healer kind of nudge you, go, you can do this, move beyond the fear, can be so powerful. I'm going to share a quick testimonial that I hope to share soon on my Facebook page. So if you guys are on Facebook and you want to find me under Tawnya Love, I encourage you to find me because I post everything on there. But I have a client that I've recently been helping, and she's been coming to my yoga and meditation classes. She's come to the Sacred Soul Sister. She's come and had clearings with me. I've been working with her for several months, and she, when I first met her, had a lot of stuff going on physically in her body, and we were helping her clear that, but there was a lot of emotional woundedness as well. And in the last few months, when I first met her, she had diabetes. She was having a lot of problems in her back and like pain in her body. And since we've worked together, she has dropped 25 pounds and she has cured herself of diabetes completely. Her body's returning to its natural, healthy, vibrational state. And she's starting to open up her psychic gifts. She's starting to really trust herself and starting to see in a new way, vibrationally, like how to shift her financial situation, how to shift her relationships. And she was a client that had a lot of past vibrational energy that needed to be cleared. And if it wasn't cleared, she would keep repeating it. So as humans, we don't mean to, but when it's a pattern energetically, we kind of just go into reactive mode. And so if there's abuse or there's trauma in some way, we don't mean to keep doing it, but we're just reacting. We're reacting. And it's like a little spinning wheel. We just keep going around on the merry-go-round with that same situation. Like, oh, I'm getting away from this relationship, but I just called a new one in, a new guy that's going to play out that part. And so until we clear it vibrationally, we'll keep experiencing it. And so the reason I'm on this planet is to help souls with this. So I so welcome you to call me personally. I'll just say my phone number for those listening if you want to jot it down. And you can call me. I can tune into you one-on-one and we can get a little feel for where you're at. And then if you're ready for a clearing, I can help you remotely or in person. And my number is 360-567-7576. If you guys want to go to the website and look about more information like what is an auric clearing and you just want to read about it, you can go to TanyaAngel555.com and get more information there. So, and one thing on that note, I just am proud because I finally went out and kind of trusted my angels to go and market myself a little bit. And so in the Natural Awakenings magazine locally here in Vancouver and Portland area, I've got ads in there this month and I've already started to get some customers contacting me. So I'm just like, yay, we're starting to go out in expansion. And my goal is to really take this globally so that I can go and offer retreats and workshops and seminars to really help educate lots of people at one time and help them to tune in and understand their gifts. Because I really don't feel that I am just the only special one and then that girl that I met one time was, and that it's only us and everybody else has got to suffer. There's some of us that are here, very sensitive souls, that we have gone through quite a battle of darkness ourselves, and I have, trust me, I have been through a lot. And so we've gone through that so we could understand it, and part of our initiation was to come out of it. And once we came out of it, we could come into our power, like our card we chose today, empowerment. That moment for a soul that's been a learning empath to come in and be an empowered empath is amazing. And your influence on the world is amazing and profound, but you have to do your work. And so if some of you are listening today and you're like, I feel kind of stuck and I feel like I get so far and then I stop right there at that wall, I sabotage myself again and again, see that, at least have the awareness to see that pattern, and then contact me and just invest in that. Invest in knowing that clearing that pattern could be the most amazing thing that you ever did in your life. And it could get you exactly on that path that you need to be if you're willing to do the work. And I say that because if it's a client that's like, say I have a mom and she says, hey, you need to give a clearing to my daughter because she's annoying. And so I go to tune into the daughter and she doesn't want the clearing. She doesn't want the awareness. She doesn't want the light. That's not going to be as powerful as a soul that's like, I am done suffering. I am done feeling frustrated and confused. I'm done feeling lost. I'm done feeling like I'm not in my power. I'm done making these same choices that sabotage me. And I know I feel a sense of connection with Tanya, what she's saying. And I trust this feeling and this vibration. Next move is on me. So I encourage you guys to tune in and trust that feeling and make the effort to get that work done. And it may just be a session. Some clients I've seen, maybe I'll see them once and then I'll see them again in 6 months to a year. But they have amazing transformation when they're actually doing their work. If you come in and you don't listen to any of the messages, you don't change any of your behaviors, it's just like hiring a personal trainer. She's going to tell you to eat a certain way, eat healthy, be mindful of your exercise, all this, and then you go home and go, I'm going to go watch a movie, eat some Oreos, and I'm not going to listen to what she said because that sounds exhausting. So you're going to stay stuck. So I encourage you guys to really look at how you are the one holding the power, and your choices that you're making today are amazingly important to the big picture. And your coming into your alignment and your power is what the world's waiting for, because each of us that chooses that is going to change this world in an amazing and dynamic way. So anybody else got a question? I hope that helped.
No, Lisa just says, thank you.
Okay, Lisa, I hope that was helpful. So let's see, we got a couple minutes left. One of the things I'll share for the local people, and eventually my goal is to manifest where I can offer webinars and things as well for those that are far away. If you guys are interested in that, contact me and let me know, and I will work on getting that in alignment. But coming up, I have an Empowering of the Empath mentorship, and it's going to be the second Saturday of every month. And so in this month, it's going to be on the 11th. And then I also have a past life regression workshop I'm doing on Sunday the 19th, and a Sacred Soul Sister Circle, which is going to be on Saturday the 25th, and a Painting with Spirit workshop, which will be on Sunday the 26th. So there's some of the calendar of events. I'm going to try to post that on my blog on the Tawnya Angel 555 website. I'll try to post that later today. But if any of you are local and you're interested in that, just contact me. You can go to PayPal and just sign up and reserve your spot, or give me a call and just let me know your info. And I would love to help you all. That is why I'm here, and so make use of my gifts. Kathy, were you happy? Is she still there? Was she happy with her reading? Did that help her?
She hung up.
Okay. Well, I hope that was helpful to her as well. So, you guys, I wish you all the best this week. I've got a couple minutes, so I want to share one story real quick because this was actually amazing. I had a man that I've been helping for a couple years actually. The first time I saw him for a clearing was right when my gift was awakened and I was just kind of like learning to do it. And he came and we met and connected. And at first, we just met at a coffee shop and he was asking me questions. And then he was kind of one of those skeptics that was like, I'm just going to wait. I don't know. I got to see if the universe brings me signs to work with her. And so he was asking if he should work with me to have them bring a sign. And one day he was driving somewhere where I was, and I was walking my dog, and he saw me like, whoa, that's that girl. And then he was asking again for confirmation. And there was a time where he was driving, and I turned right in front of him, and he saw me in the car. So he realized, okay, the angels are guiding me to work with her. And so these are like the synchronistic things that angels can do to get our attention. Like, hey, there she is again. Hey, you want to give her a call? And so I started to work with him, and he had a drug addiction issue. He was a heroin addict, actually, and a very tormented soul. And he had so many entities that he had invited in when he was under drug use, which we could do a whole show just on that. And he had let these entities come in because he kind of left the doorway to his body open, and it really was destructive to his life. And it was a pretty intense client, and he was one of those clients that couldn't always pay me and was like, Tawnya, I promise you I will pay you. And I always trusted him, and he would. Big picture, he'd take care of it. But just the reason I'm saying this is there's times we get these clients where our hearts just like help them, even though it's hard work, and sometimes we don't even know if we're getting paid. But I just felt like I gotta help this one. Like I just know if I stick it out, there's going to be amazing transformation. And I didn't give up on him. And it got to the point where, as I was helping him, I had him give me an agreement in a clearing that if he ever felt tempted to use heroin, that he would call me and I could talk to him and I could tune in and help him if he let me. And he agreed to do that. So there was times he called me like 12 at night, 2 in the morning, and he'd be like, Tawnya, I'm really in a bad place. And I would talk him through it and just be like, okay. And it was like the angels talked through me in a very bold way with him. It wasn't all like gentle. It was kind of like, what are you doing, man? Like, you are going to kill yourself, and you need to choose to fight this darkness. And if you don't fight, it's taking you. Like, you have to wake up right now. And so it was pretty intense. And I remember just hoping for his soul, and I hold that vision for him to choose his power, because I told him if he could make it through this, I felt his soul had such a powerful potential to help others' lives, and that this darkness was trying to take him down, and it was trying so hard that I felt it was because there was something really important he was here to do, and not to underestimate that. And it kept him believing, like, you know what, there is something I'm here to do. And he felt really lost of what that was, but he fought. And I want to share because a couple days ago I got a phone call from his mother, and she was crying on the phone. She was telling me, Tawnya, I just want to thank you for bringing me my son back, because she had not seen him, meaning him in his own consciousness, for 20 years. He had been using since age 12, like under the influence of drugs. And she went to visit him in the rehab center where he's at right now. And she said that she just saw clarity, and he was looking at her in a way like it was like her son, what she remembered, but she hadn't seen him for so long. And she was crying, and she was just like, I was talking to him, and he was telling me about you, and he was saying how you're his angel and that you kept him going. And then I start crying. But it was such a beautiful full circle story that I don't always get. Sometimes I help a client and I wish them the best, and they just go on and do amazing things. Or I don't know, maybe they don't take the messages and listen, and they don't change. But this was one of those amazing opportunities where I got to see the full circle of that healing. And I've since then helped his wife with healings, and now his mother wants to come see me for a clearing. And I share that because his story to me brings me so much hope for humanity. Because if we could think there's a soul that you might give up on, it's probably like a drug addict, someone that you just see them destroying their lives. They've caused a lot of harm to their family. They haven't had integrity. They've hurt themselves, and they keep hurting themselves. But I feel like, first of all, love yourselves and don't let people around you that are going to treat you like that, and really honor your boundaries. but at the same time, hold a vision of these souls as they could be in their power. See them choosing to come back in their alignment and see them in their power, because you can help them so much. Sometimes that kind word or just saying, hey, give me a call if you need to talk, and you genuinely mean it. This is all I did with him. Well, I did a lot of healing, but the actual parts where he could have gone down and he was right at death's door, he was suicidal, and he could have gone that direction. But we can hold that vibration with people and we can speak truth to them. And I feel it's so important that we start speaking truth and stop, just enabling people. Stop saying what you think you're supposed to say because you don't want to cause a rift in that family situation. Start speaking truth. You're going to feel empowered. If you keep holding back your words and your truth, you feel enslaved and you don't serve anyone. So I feel like that's my final message. And I just wanted to thank that mother for calling and telling me her story and telling me of what's going on with her son. And I just recently wrote him a letter, and she's taking it to the rehab facility to give it to him. And I just feel like one day he's going to be doing amazing things. And his angels already told me he is here to help the ones that are very broken. And to help liberate them and help to heal them. So I feel so much potential for his soul. And just if you're with me, and even if you don't know his name, just hold a vibration of him doing great things, and all of us doing great things, all of us coming into the light and coming into our empowerment and trusting that we're here to speak. We're not here to be silent anymore. We're not here to go with the flow and just be conformed. We are here to make a difference and to be messengers of the light. So I hope today's show helped you. And if you want to tune in to spirits and you want to learn more about that, come connect with me. We can do a Skype call. We could do soul coaching, or just start tuning into your angels to start. Just start asking them for guidance. Ask them for clarity. Start going into meditation and being quiet and just tuning in to be reflective and to be open to receive. And you will be amazed of what will flow through you. So I thank you all for tuning in today. We went over 5 minutes, so sorry, Amnon. But I thank you so much for sharing your time with me each Sunday, and save the date on your calendar. Every Sunday, we could call it Sacred Sunday, Sacred Soul Sunday. And I love to connect with you and to help you on your journey. Have a beautiful and blessed week, everyone. Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVBI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.